What's up guys, my name is Jason777, or Zach if you prefer that, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys, that's right, Ash Prime, and the Tonkor, and the Atomos, wherever it is, and the carrier back there hanging out. Ash Prime is actually surprisingly good, guys. I've never really thought Ash was that good, but I never really made a good build for him until Ash Prime. And I was like, I'm actually going to make a build for this guy and make him do hour-long survivals. And he can now. So, first off, guys, this is a melee build, so make sure you have Life Strike on your melee weapon. Otherwise, you're going to end up dead all the time. So, you want Primed Continuity, Transistent Fortitude, Vitality, Primed Flow, and you can actually either have that maxed Transistent Fortitude, or you can have less ranks on it if you want to be more invisible for longer, you know. Or you could have it higher if you just want that extra damage. You don't really care about being invisible. If you don't want to be invisible for long, if you just want that max Blade Storm efficiency, put Fleeting Expertise on instead. Primed Flow is not that necessary in the build if you have Fleeting Expertise on. Vitality, of course, I think I already said that. Rage, Constitution, Streamline, and Intensify. Those all make a hell of a good build for Ash. The Tonkor is actually a hilariously overpowered weapon. You can actually buy the blueprint in the market. You want Serration, Heavy Caliber, Split Chamber, Point Strike, Firestorm, Vital Sense, Stormbringer, and Infected Clip. This build's actually really funny if you put it on Mirage. You'll be running around shooting balls at everybody. It's pretty hilarious. The Atomos, this is one of my new favorite weapons as well. This thing, actually, when you shoot one enemy with it, even if it's a dead enemy, or if it's a teammate, it'll actually string the beam you're shooting to all nearby enemies. And I don't think it actually has a limit to how many enemies it can string to, so it is pretty overpowered when you're fighting a lot of low rank enemies. You want Hornet Strike, Barrel Diffusion, Lethal Torrent, Ruinous Extension. This is essential to this because it makes it so when the beam strings to other enemies, it goes farther by 8 meters, which is hilariously far. Convulsion, Pathogen Rounds, Jolt, and Pistol Pestilence. Of course, guys, I didn't say this for the Tonkor, but you want to have corrosive damage for Void, and for Infested, you're going to want radiation damage for Grineer, which is Convulsion, Heated Charge, or Heat and Electricity. And I have the event mods on as well, mimicking the same elements I have on, just to add crazy damage. And then you want to add Deep Freeze for that cold damage and electricity, so you have magnetic damage for Corpus. It's funny that they actually show a picture of a Corpus guy on that picture. They're like, that's what this is for. Alright, and the Torpedo, I'm actually going to show you guys that. It's actually amazing for getting around. As far as the build goes, it's kind of the same build I put on most weapons that are crit based. Except I actually didn't put Spoiled Strike on, so I could put Fury on and just move around quickly. I mainly use this weapon for mobility, and they're actually apparently adding Parkour 2.0 on PC pretty soon, so that means whenever they get that update, we only got about a month until we get it, so that's pretty nice. And Life Strike again, guys, make sure you have this on whatever melee weapon you're using with this build for Ash, otherwise you will go down constantly. It's a must. Alright, and I'll show you Sweeper Prime here. The build for this is actually fantastic. It's kind of your typical max damage shotgun build, and this thing is a monster. Like, you could literally like solo T1 survivals with just Carrier Prime's weapon here. It's really funny. And I have the same thing going on here. I mimic the primary elements with the status mods. And you guys already know how to make radiation damage, magnetic, and corrosive. I'm sure I just said it, so. Alright, so let's hop in the Void real quick. I'll hop in one of these T4 survivals. So yeah, guys, if you want to get those status mods too, by the way, if you don't have them already because you missed the events or whatever, you can get the heat damage and cold damage ones from spy missions on different planets. I don't remember the exact locations, but I'm sure you could find it on the wiki or on Google or something really easily. You can find the electricity damage ones from the Void Trader, and you can also find the corrosive or not the corrosive damage, the poison damage ones from Vor, which you actually find Vor in T4 keys, which is exactly what I'm doing now, so you probably will see him in here. I actually just tested fighting him with Mirage, and I actually managed to beat him without dying, so that was nice. Mirage is, by the way, a amazing frame with both of these weapons. It's kind of hilarious. So the whole time you're playing with Ashe, you're gonna want your melee weapon out, and you're just gonna build up your melee multiplier, because as your melee multiplier builds up, you'll actually do more damage with your Blade Storm. So when it says you're doing 2 times normal damage, you're actually going to do 2 times more damage with Blade Storm, which is hilarious. It makes it slightly OP, especially since you can attack the same target twice in one Blade Storm. I can't even kill anything because Carrier's gonna do it all. Look at him go. It's one shot. He's just done. That's T4 and he's one-shotting people. What a thug. Alright, and whenever you lose health, guys, just channel, use that Life Strike. This is one of the reasons Flow is useful, because you won't burn all your energy using Life Strike, hopefully. I do use a max Life Strike because I a lot of times go for like hour-long survivals, and I hate when I'm like just about to die and I use Life Strike and it doesn't have enough oomph to it. So a max Life Strike, you just instantly refill your health practically every time. It's pretty nice. And right now these enemies are super weak, but if you guys were doing hour-long survivals, I have tested this build hardcore. I've done like the max stress test with the Tonkor. The Atomos does give out at around 40 minutes in. It will not do much damage after that. Even if you're Mirage, it'll start struggling pretty bad. The Tonkor, on the other hand, it'll still two-shot enemies up until about an hour in, so you can be like 60 minutes into this survival on a T4. Okay, phone, just start beeping. You can be an hour into a survival and on a T4 and it'll still do just fine. That is my new high tier weapon. Oh my goodness, it's really damn good. So that's pretty much the basis of this build, guys, and the whole purpose of me putting on more duration is just to go invisible. If you're losing health and you're far from the enemies, you can go invisible for about 10 seconds. I think it's actually 12. And you can just move in, refill your health while you're invisible, or Blade Storm in there if you want. And that can kind of save you whenever you're getting in trouble. And it'll also make it so you can revive teammates whenever they're down, which is always nice as well. That's pretty much it, guys. I mean, I haven't even showed you gameplay with the Atomos or anything. So I'll whip that out for a second and show you guys that. I just can't help with melee, it's so amazing. The Atomos, guys, is really good for low level stuff. Like even the beginning of a survival, a T4, you could probably go up to 20 minutes and still melt everything within seconds. And up to 40 minutes, it still will be within seconds. And when you get to an hour in though, that's when it's really tough to kill them. With the Atomos, it just won't pack enough of a punch. And that's when you whip out the Tonkor. And if you're Mirage especially, it'll be obnoxious damage. It only hit for 2k on that guy, wow. This thing is a little everywhere with damage, like it'll hit mainly for 50k on most enemies, but I think because these enemies are so weak, it's not hitting for much. Let's see what it does to this guy. Alright, well, apparently they're just not going to show the actual damage. It's probably because they don't have enough health. Anyway, guys, the Tonkor is amazing, either way. I have stress tested it multiple times. I'm sure if you guys have watched my other builds, you already know that most of them are pretty on point. There was 20k on that guy. Alright guys, well I do appreciate you guys checking out this video. I plan to make more in the future. So I'm gonna abort this mission and I'll go back to that Ash build real quick just so you guys can see it again. Ash Prime is really amazing. If you guys don't know where to get his parts, you actually can get them pretty easily. I farmed them all in 2 days. Granted, I didn't really sleep in those 2 days, but I still got all his parts in 2 days. You get, I don't remember where all the drops are, but the 2 pieces that everybody buys right now is the blueprint and the systems, and those 2 are the only ones that are really hard. And you get the blueprint from T3 survival, you get the systems from T3, or no, the blueprint's T3 defense, and the systems is T3 survival. And T4 survival drops the chassis, and the helmet drops from a T4 sabotage, if you guys are curious about where to get them. Of course, you guys can always look that up to make sure that that's correct, even though I'm positive it is. But here's that build. Oh my goodness, why am I getting calls and shit all the time? Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna wrap it up here because apparently I have people wanting to talk to me. So see you guys in the next video.